Not that long ago, you would have recalled a time where I introduced a course summative to you. So a summative assignment that's going to have you investigate and research how some of the math that we cover and that you're learning can be relevant or can help you in terms of getting a career or acting within that career. Okay, so the video has been left behind to guide you today in the event that you have questions. And given that I'm away, it's probably the best way for us to answer those questions that you might have. So one of the first things I gave you following the introduction was a sheet that looked like this. And on the first day, I asked you to think of a particular role that is like a job or career that you wanted to take on. So a number of you came up with your own, and I'm just going to provide an example here. Let's say that I want to go into interior design, whatever that happens to mean. The audience, it's very open-ended. You could be preparing or presenting the mathematics to a contractor. So it could be someone who's building a house, a room. It could be a business. It could be a firm that you're applying to work within. So let's kind of keep things straightforward here. I'm just going to say I'm preparing something for a painter, for a room, a home, or a place of work that I'm trying to design. The format, meaning how am I going to get my point across to the painter? And let's just pretend that I too am the audience. So you're presenting to me, the painter. What am I going to do? Maybe the format is going to be a report that includes uh, calculations and dimensions for the space being designed. I'm also going to include, a color scheme as well, if that's going to be important for the painter. In terms of the painter, if they're a contractor, I might want to set out payment schedule. So for instance, what am I willing to offer as an hourly rate? So a lot of these types of things will have to be considered. When it comes to the topic, we'll come back and decide upon that later, but really leave this blank for now. But this is where you're going to construct or come up with and solve at least 2 math problems that relate to this assignment. Okay, so we'll come back to that later on, and take note that the emphasis on the math from our course. Okay, so now that that's set aside, you should already have a role and an audience and start thinking about a format for how you're going to present this. The format can also be developed as you start finding information. And I know a lot of people do work that way, and other people like to get things organized right from the very start. So now that we have this, what is your job today? Well, you also received a sheet that looked like this. What I've done is I've modified this sheet so that when you log on to the course website and you go to Unit 6 where you can see summative assessments, if you scroll down, you're going to see Career Research Planning Chart. Download this chart, save it to your M drive, and as you work on the computer today, looking for things online, save them. Okay? We'll come back next week. We'll have one more day to get some preliminary research done on career planning, and then I'm going to have you submit that for assessment before moving on to a later stage of the project. So let's head back to that sheet now. So given that this is what you've downloaded, okay, we're just going to put, put your name in here. So I'll just pretend to be I love math. Give me a date, okay. Career chosen. In my case, interior design. Okay, so how to become an interior designer. So I've given 5 questions or prompts that simply serve as an outline for the information you should try to bring forward to the audience. Okay, so it's good for you, it's good for the audience. It definitely lets me know what the career is about and how the mathematics will play out in it. And that's the key. We need to research the career in order to see how the numerical skills, the math skills are going to play into it. So for instance, I'll do 1 or 2 here. What do they do? So I'm not looking for a paragraph. You're going to formalize this later on. The more detail you can offer now, the better it will be. So what do they do? I'm going to go online and get some actual sources. So understandably, Wikipedia, not always the best source. What you have to make sure is that according to these footnotes that you have here, right, just make sure that any statement that's there that you use, I'm going to scroll down here, has what we call a reference or source. Okay, so we've got a book on interior design. It's the 3rd edition, coming out of New Jersey by Pearson. So it should be a very reputable source. So what I'm going to do is going to read through here. And interior design describes a group of various yet related projects that involve turning an interior space into an effective setting for the range of human activities that are to take place there. Notice that effective setting, etc., is within quotation marks. So the author for this Wikipedia page has taken that information and is using it from this source. Hence the reason why they've put it in quotation marks. Also, a lot of the words might be paraphrased, so it's really important that you tell me where the information comes from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paraphrase some of this in order that it's my words yet reflecting someone else's ideas. Okay, so more or less what I get out of that definition, effective setting for a range of human activities, is that the space is designed to be functional. So that's my take on it. I could add a lot more to it later on. So what do they do? So interior designers, how should I say this? Create spaces that are functional for the range of activities that go on. Um, that go on within the space. Even outside too, I would imagine. We can create a concrete example. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, for example, a coffee shop might have, you know, a lounge area and low-level lighting, right? Not too bright. And light music to create an atmosphere that is relaxing for customers. And if customers are relaxed, they'll want to drink coffee, etc. It's good for business. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But there's a lot more detail you can provide. Definition, give some examples. Give some examples that are specific to your project. In this case, a painter, which you can see I haven't done here. So I might go back and then change my audience. Maybe I'm looking at customers in a coffee shop or customers in some other area. Okay. Interior design could also be creating spaces like within a hospital. in a senior's home. It could be anywhere. Okay, so now I need to record a source for number one. Okay, so I've created a chart down here. You'll see here number one. What we're going to do is look for any names, dates, titles, and the URL. In Wikipedia, if you have a look here, that's kind of hard to tell. The pages are not authored. Usually, sometimes authors unknown. So what we'll do is we will take down the title. It's interior design. We're going to add it to our chart. Interior design, capitalize first letter only. We're going to get the URL. So that's a quick copy and paste from here. There it is. I'm going to save my document as we're working here. You should do the same. The date, let's find a date on the page. Nothing at the top. Let's scroll right to the bottom. November 19th was the last update, so let's put that. So year 2012, November, full word, and 12th. Name, no name on the article, so we could say that just unknown. Okay, and then we'll come back later on as to how I want you to complete the project with regards to this information. Okay, so save that again. Let's go back, do a little more exemplifying here. What skills, training, courses are required? What would you learn on the job? What should you take in high school? Some research can be done there. And also take note that if you know people in these jobs, interview them. Take some notes down. Okay, it could be a really quick and effective way of gaining some actual primary information. Okay, so as far as training and courses, I went to George Brown College, to their continuing ed department for arts and design, and you can kind of see here that it's an interior decorating certificate. And if you scroll through, it does mention once you have completed compulsory and elective subjects, you should have enough knowledge to be a professional interior decorator that's recognized. Okay, so it provides you career opportunities, how you complete the certificate. So what I'm going to say here is that we need to complete 12 compulsories and 2 electives from here. So back in this document, special training are required. So just in this area here, what you would need is um, to become an interior decorator. Please use full sentences, as if you do it now, you're going to save yourself some time later. So to become an interior decorator, one would need to take a program for an interior design certificate. Um, you know, example here of the institution would be George Brown College. The program requires that students complete 12 compulsory courses and 2 electives. Examples of the types of courses include, and you could go into a bit of detail there. You can go even further. The skills that you would learn in this particular course include ... and just detail a couple courses. Like, what are you actually going to learn? Try to find information on the net about learning on the job, or hypothesize what you'll learn. Think about what you want to take in high school. Okay, do you have your MAP 4C? Did you take art, computer aided design? What is that you've done? So try to answer those 5 to the best of your ability, and those will be handed in for assessment next week. before you move on to the next phase of the project. Okay, so please work hard at it. I think the more you put into it, the more you'll discover, the more excited you'll be about it, and the better off your summative mark will be. I'm going to give you at most 10% for this thing. So definitely a lot of value here for what you're doing. Last but not least, let's get the last source down. I was at George Brown. So I'm just going to grab the URL, copy it, bring it back into my planning table for question number 2. So for number 2, in it goes. I'm going to save while I'm at it. Name of page or name of website or title of document, actually. Let's go there. Let's call it Interior Decorating Certificate. Decorating certificate. The date on that, let's check that out and see if we have a current date on this page. I don't see anything there for this particular page. There might be one on the home page. What we could also do is write down the date that you retrieved the information. So let's put that in, the retrieval date. In fact, I should have done that up here. Today's the 21st. Here, same thing, retrieval date. In terms of authorship, I don't believe we're going to have anything there in terms of authorship. Okay, but what we could do is we could indicate where we're getting the information from. So what we'll say is perhaps, let's just say George Brown College. Let's go continuing education. Okay, so there it gives you an idea of how I want you to track your sources so that when you do present your work, that I will and everybody else who critiques your work in our project fair is going to know where it comes from. Okay, so good luck to you, work hard at it, and do a great all-around job.